let me start the recording. I've started. Let me do the, no, before even doing the screen share. Tabish, are you ready?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah.
Okay, I'm making you the host so you can share your screen first.
All right, buddy.
So I made you the host. Now you can share your screen.
Yeah, I can't see anything, man. Have you? Okay,
he's not yet started the sharing. Just now I made him the host.
Got you.
Hi Anjali, Onakam, Saukyama.
All right.
Yeah.
You see it?
Manasilayo?
Mansilai.
I don't know much Malayalam. Koracha Arjun.
Korcha is enough.
It's very little.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you the proper Malayali accent. I'm just telling something which I know when I was in Tamil Nadu.
But it's really nice. Like when someone is
I was in
with the
Coimbatore for almost 5 years. So I know I used to go to Ernakulam, I used to go to Palakkad, I used to go to a lot of places. Munnar. Okay, so Tabesh, now with respect to your Jenkins thing.
Yeah, see, do you see this? It keeps on failing,
Yes,
man. And
this is exactly what I was talking about. If you see the respective video, in initial one video or video two, whatever, there is a place where I've asked you guys to do the environment variables. Okay, I will show you what the mistake.
I've already done that, man. I've already done that.
You have done that? If you have done that, you will not get this error. Okay, do one thing. First, go to the command line.
Here, check it out. Look.
No, not this here. First, let's go to the command line. Windows command prompt. Yes, just type Java C. Java C. Java, yes, that's the one. So if you have done this, you will not get this error. Okay, now first show me where your Java is installed. Actually, everything is recording. Yes, there is recording. And let me take the control of your screen.
Can I help him do that?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I thought I already installed Java, man. That's funny. It's not showing up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, I don't have control over there.
Yeah, you can take control if you want, man.
So basically, we need to configure the Java JDK. You have the runtime configured, but not the JDK.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Raghu already has the control, so let him.
No, you can take the control. You can request and you can take the control.
All right, okay. Request remote control, okay. Request.
Let me relinquish. Yeah, I relinquish my control, so you can take the control.
Okay, great. Yeah.
All right, I got it. Hang on. All right, go ahead, man.
Okay. So what basically we'll do is right now, since you have executed the command Java and it runs positive, right? Where was your command window?
What?
Where is your command window? I think I don't have control yet.
You don't? Already approved it, man. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I think it's taking something.
There it is.
So when we say Java C, it says not recognized. But when I say Java, it's available. So you see the Java means it's the runtime. Yeah. So it's in order to run an executable Java file, which is already a compiled one.
Yeah. JDK path of Java should be added to the path.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will see now.
That exactly I showed in the initial videos. That's fine. You can do it now.
Yeah. So basically what we will do is I will go directly into your, where is this program files?
Yeah, I'll do it, man.
Oh, you go. Yeah. Can you go to program files? Okay, good. Okay. Go to program files. Go to Java. Yeah. Okay. Now you don't have the JDK installed.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to install the JDK. So you have got two options of installing JDK. One is the Oracle version of the JDK. One is the Open JDK. Raghu, which one do you suggest we install over here? Raghu, have you dropped out? Okay, we install the Oracle JDK 1.8. Raghu, are you there? Yeah, 1.8, that's correct. You need, yeah, that's right. For Windows, we are.
Does it matter? Oh, okay, Windows. This one.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. 64 bit.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure you are using a 64 bit of Windows, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what are you downloading, man?
JDK we need to download, right? It's not there.
Wait.
No?
We
Go to
did
your
not find
Java
it.
installation. You might have at least had a JRE. Go to your JRE first of all.
JRE is there.
Open your JRE stuff. Again, Oracle account. Why unnecessarily? Open bin. Click on bin. No. In that Windows folder, open bin. Is there any? Come down. Wait, there should be Java C. There is no Java C in this. There should be Java C.
How would you have Java compiler in the JRE? It's a runtime environment, right?
These guys might have changed. Initially, it used to be there.
I
If
don't
you
see
have
it in everything else.
If you have Java C, why would you have? It would have run in the first place because this is already mapped.
Fine. Download the JDK. Yeah.
All right.
No, you were already at the download screen. You have the window open somewhere. No, not over here. Not over here. You have in your Google Chrome. You have got another window where you had the.
No, I closed it. I closed it because Rob said.
Okay, fine. Okay, agree.
Well, let me first check the folder though. No, it's not there. Okay.
Yeah, you have the JRE. You downloaded the JRE.
So is it this one? JDK?
Raghu, is that the right one?
Man, this guy goes, man.
Yeah, you go ahead, Metin. Yeah, no, this is the 557 MB. What is that one? Java development kits sample download. Okay, so samples. We don't need the samples. Yeah, so yeah.
This one?
Yeah, development. Yeah, get the 64. Yeah, that's right.
See, you gotta log in then. So I don't have a login, man. That's the problem.
All right.
That's the thing. I think that's why it took me on that screen, and I was like, I can't log in, you know. So I closed it out.
Okay. Yeah. I would create basically an Oracle account in order to download that, but then we need to search online if somebody is giving us a JDK version, which is so without download. So in the search, you say all Oracle links will point you to the same one. Yeah, let's see over there.
Well, I already have Java, right? It's just that I need that JDK, you said.
Yeah.
I don't think this is it, huh?
Yeah. So you search for OpenJDK, then we'll download the OpenJDK. It shouldn't prompt you. No, OpenJDK.
Wait. I will tell you a few things. OpenJDK, don't do it on Windows. Do it on Linux.
Got you.
If you want to do OpenJDK, you should really want like JDK 13, etc. like that. Because I will tell you how this licensing works.
Right.
In Linux, yes. Especially Ubuntu, all of us use OpenJDK. That is absolutely understood. That is fine. Whereas Windows, at least till JDK 1.8, use a standard Oracle JDK. Standard.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want really JDK, especially 9 also fine, especially JDK 11, 12, 13, then go for OpenJDK in Windows. As much as possible in Windows, don't go for OpenJDK because licensing things, all those things very different.
Yeah.
You just practice with Oracle JDK in Windows. Even if you go to job, if you are really working on your normal Windows system, it can get very confusing. So just stick with JDK 8 and 9, that to go with Oracle JDK.
Okay.
Because I hardly see any companies really using anyone beyond 9 or 11 as of now.
Correct. So now
stick with Oracle JDK in Windows.
So how can you download? how can he download without the Oracle username and password? He doesn't have an Oracle account. Is
You
there
can
any?
create an account. You have to create an account and download. That's the thing. Wait, let me see if I can upload my stuff first.
All right, I'm asking you which one should I get, 8, 11, or 13?
8. Raghu, we go with 8, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Go with 8. Don't go with the latest stuff because the way you're using Java is very different. In fact, it is a confusing thing many times. Let me see if I can. Usually I just delete the stuff. Let me see if I can log in again so that you guys quickly get something. I think I'm able to download. Let me see. It's asking for some login account. Oh,
Give him that download link.
no, 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 no. Wait, it's not. I again asking something. Oracle login. Yeah, I'm just getting the login link. It's not giving me any link. I got the exe file. Let me do one thing. It's a 200 MB file. Let me upload to the Google Drive so you guys can download. Okay.
All right. And then I just go from there, and then I try to run it again, and it should work.
Yeah, you just go there and Ilyas will help you so that at least we get some productive, because you are one of the productive person who is really trying something. That's good.
And once he does the download, we can show him what to do so that he can follow on.
No, you do it completely. Just do it, because see, hardly 1 or 2 people are there really doing something. Yeah, today's probably Anjali time is wasted, but apart from that, how many people are really joining?
No. I'm getting something.
I know. You are very.
Because I just got through the videos of the last day, like just few minutes. Few hours back.
Apart from you guys, hardly anyone else is joining. Maybe Hashim will join for some time, but apart from that, not really much people are joining and showing. Yeah, Hafiz will practice something on his own. That is actually good. But yeah, at least whoever is really doing productivity, let's get the stuff. So it's fine. You do it the complete thing. Okay, I'm uploading to the Google Drive folder. JDK. Where is this? It's still downloading, I think. JDK 8. Just wait for 2 minutes. It will be uploaded into the Google Drive. So Ilyas Ahmad asked that guy to open the Google Drive of Java training folder.
Okay.
Anyway, let me paste it there in the WhatsApp. Able to open and see that file? Oh, it's still uploading.
Is it? Yeah, because I don't see it.
No, in the Google Drive folder, it's still uploading. So it's not yet uploaded. 215 MB file, not a small file.
Okay. Huh?
Yeah, it's uploaded. You can see it now. Just go to that Google Drive which I shared now. Tabish,
Yeah, I'm here, man.
open that WhatsApp link which I sent now. You can just open it. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Man, so active with 2 kids and 42 years of age, so energetic. Wow, man. Great. Bade boy.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so okay, get him to open that Google Drive and in the Java training folder, whichever I shared in that web WhatsApp. Let me share the same link here also in the chat.
Yes, Tavish, you know where those videos are there, right?
No, I sent you now. I sent you in the Zoom chat right now.
Okay.
Okay, hang on, man.
So you can open it and you can download the exe and you can install the JDK. Yeah, once you download, then you know what to do. Fine. Anjali.
Yes.
Anjali,
Yes, I'm
today,
here.
do you know what's the context actually? Tabish is spending this much time with Elias actually. Do you know what's the context?
Yeah, like how to work on Docker, right? He
No,
was
no, no,
having
no.
an issue.
That's not the thing. Okay, Tabish,
was-
by the time it downloads and oh, it's already downloaded. See, basically, Tabish, by following that videos, he was trying the Jenkins job.
He was having an issue in following up with that last video.
No, I'll tell you what's the exact issue. So basically, the Jenkins multi-pipeline setup he was trying to set up means you set up 2 jobs, you link them in a build pipeline, they will run like a pipeline. This is one way of pipeline in Jenkins. Blue Ocean is a different one. So he was trying to do that. He was able to set up the jobs and he was not able to get the first job running. It was failing. Why it is failing? Because there was no Java C in his system configured. Confused? Anjali?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm getting the idea.
So have you understood till now what I said?
Yes, I'm getting the idea.
Yeah. Then now what this Ilyas Ahmad is working with Tabish is to make sure JDK is installed in his system because JDK has that Java C, etc. for compiling. So once you configure it, now once you relaunch you need to restart the Jenkins server. You can go to Windows services and relaunch. Then Jenkins knows the latest stuff of the Windows configuration. Then that job will pass. How it will pass? It will run locally some Java commands on the system. So later on in future, whenever you want to do the Jenkins related exercise, you will come across this concept. But right now you got some idea what I said?
Yes.
No, if you're confused, you can tell me. Ilyas will explain you even more simpler ways.
No, actually, I got the idea. And
then fine. If you got it, then good.
I'll go through the videos again. And
yeah. When you do it later on, then you'll understand. But I think Ilyas understood what's the exact problem. Angel and
Yeah, I think this is going to take a while. If you want to start with the lesson, you can. Hey, Raghu.
Yeah, what happened, Tabish?
No, I was just saying this might take a while to install. So if you want to continue with your lesson, you can.
It's fine. Let's finish it. It's okay. Even if it takes time, that's fine. At least someone is going to learn something. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine, man.
So meanwhile, oh, your Ilyas is controlling. Okay, fine. Then fine. Ilyas, once you install that JDK, make sure the Java C is there in the Windows command, and then you need to restart the Jenkins server from the Windows service. Do you know how to do this? Okay, he's on mute. That's fine. Fine. You can tell me when you get stuck up. Zell. Ilyas, where are you stuck up? Ilyas? Oh, it's still installing. Okay. Fine.
I don't think Ilyas is the one who's on my screen. I think it's Ahmed Shahab.
Same guy is Ilyas.
Oh,
We
same
call
guy?
him Ilyas. He has so many names. Muhammad Ahmad Sahabuddin Ilyas Bakhtiar. You can call any names within this.
Okay, I think it's installed. Okay. All right, I think it's done. You want me to go ahead and restart it or something?
Let Ilyas do. Ilyas, are you there on the call, boss?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Can
it's
you hear me
installed
okay?
now, JDK. You can do the further stuff.
Yeah. Let's go to your program files and let's see if it is copied there. Which the location? Program files. No, not add remove. Go to your C colon program files.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you can take the control, man.
No, it's okay. I mean, he's being pretty fast. He will know it.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Okay. Go to Java. Cool. So now you can see the JDK. Right? Keep this window open and go to your environment variables. Keep this window open. Okay. Yeah. First one. Good. Go to, yep. Good. Go to, no. Let's go the user. That's what I would do. Go in there. Okay. So where is your JDK JRE in the first place? Where is the previous one? Let's look at that one. Oh, you don't have that one in the first place. So how did your Java C command work? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I have no idea, man. Like I said, I did it according to what I found online.
All right. Okay. No worries. Fine.
Oh, you want to do it? Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you see over here, PowerShell, Java Docker also, see this is the one, right? So where is it trying to pick up this thing? I'm just trying to find out this path. This is the one we need to replace this JRE with a new one. Okay. So we can do it over here. I'm sure it will be over here. We haven't seen it, I think. I think there is a slight lag between the clicks, between my clicks over here.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the path. Double click on the path.
Path?
Yeah. Path. Double click on the path over there.
The first one?
The third item.
Yes.
Yeah. Double click on that. So where? Okay. It's probably picking from the system one. Click on cancel. Yeah. In the system variables, click on path. Yeah. That's where it's picking up from. Okay. So what we will do is the third last one, the JRE one. Yeah. So basically we will replace that one with the JDK one. All right. So go on edit. Okay. And go to your other window which was open, the program files one. Very good. Go to bin. Yeah. Go to bin.
Oh man, what the hell?
Double click on that.
All right. Click on bin, right?
Yeah. Go inside bin. Go left click on bin. So what's happening? Okay. Yeah. Now pick up the path from there. You have got a Java C over here, most likely. You should have that. Yeah, Java C, I can see that over there. Right. So edit this one. Yeah, paste the URL.
I think it's the same thing, man.
Control V.
Yeah, I did. I think it's the same path.
No, this is JDK. You see, the one which you have is JRE.
Yeah, Control V is not working, so let me see.
Click on edit.
I did. Look, I did.
Oh, really? Okay. Can you remove that whole text?
Not doing anything. I might need to do a new one. Maybe I can delete this now. Delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's add a new one. Oh, it didn't copy in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing it. Let me see.
Right click over there. Yeah, copy. Yeah, now it's got it.
Yeah, Control C is not working, so I don't know why. Let me see.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes, there you go. Click on OK. Okay. So let's exit this window. Yeah, close this one and exit this one. Okay, start another command line. Yes. Now type Java C. Press enter.
What the hell? It's doing that.
Close the window then. Let's. Yeah. Java C.
Something weird is going on, man.
Yeah, I can see that. Wow.
It is increasing the size of the window, but it's not doing anything.
You press a space bar.
Space bar or no, enter, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to do a space bar at least. Is it like?
A space bar does this. What the hell?
Check your function key or something is blocked over there, or your control key is locked.
I don't think so, man. Let me see.
Yeah, we can do it over here also. PowerShell, Java C, right? Or exit first. Exit this one.
Wow, something weird is going on, man. I think I got too many windows open, maybe.
No, that shouldn't create a problem.
Hey guys, this might get disconnected anytime, so we can just rejoin once it disconnects.
Yeah, my keyboard is not working, man. Wow, something happened.
Log out and log in. Or else, Ilyas, you can take the control of a system and then you can do that.
Let me see if that can be possible, because when he says the keyboard is this thing, there's something. Okay, let me see.
Go ahead, man. Oh, you can do it. Okay, good.
So we have got Java compiler installed for you. Okay, so you see it's there. Now you can go and run your Jenkins commands. But what Raghu was suggesting is you restart the Jenkins service.
Yeah, can you go ahead and do it? Because mine's not working right now, remember?
All right, okay, no worries, mate. Okay.
I think maybe because you have the control, so it's confused, maybe.
It's confused, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, because I can't do anything. You can just type in services, man.
Okay. Type in.
Go to the Windows services.
Yeah. Tavish wanted to do so. I'm not doing.
No, I can't do it, remember? I don't know.
Just click on run command in the thing and then just type services.
In the search bar, yeah.
Services.msc.
You can actually type in services over here, right there. First one. There you go.
Where is J?
Java, right? Or Jenkins?
Yeah, just stop it. Right click, stop it.
You can do restart.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is also okay.
All right. Now, if I run this, it should work. You saying?
Yeah. What I suggest is you close the Jenkins window and start it again. Let's log in again, because this session would have lost because you have restarted the service.
No. I think no need to do log out.
I already did it.
Even the Jenkins restart, I'm not sure. May not be required.
Ah, shit, man. So guys, just to help me understand this, what's the purpose of the JDK again?
The JDK, what it does, it compiles your Java code. So you have the Java, you have typed in some code over there, hello world or whatever code you do. So it converts your JAVA file into a class file, and class file is what actually runs on the virtual machine. Yeah. So class file is a workable file.
Gotcha. So do I have to create a new item and then run that again, or can I edit this or this work?
Let's try it, because now from Jenkins point of view, I am also learning. So it's you need to show what you have done so we can see that.
So go to build now.
Yeah, let's try that. It says done.
Yeah, but it's still red, man. See?
It's performing some actions. Can you see the log? How can you see the logs of this one?
It does pause.
It did work. It worked.
Yeah, it worked. So it's managed to compile your thing, and then it was able to even run that also.
Okay, good, man. So it worked. Okay.
Yeah. So it was basically a so what have you done in this hello world thing?
I was stuck at this part, man, when I was trying to create the jobs and then link them on the pipeline.
Can I see your pipeline over here?
Right here?
Yeah, for this hello world thing. All right.
For this one I did. And so I think I need to delete this and then create another one. This one's not going to work, is it? Maybe.
It'll do the same thing again.
It'll just run the job, nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So
I'll just start the recording, then you can take the control. Now I'm making Tabish the host. Okay, Tabish, now you can share the screen.
all right, so
Continue the discussion, which are you guys are doing.
So basically, can you show me how the pipeline looks like? What are the commands in that one?
Yeah, Tabish, go ahead.
Yeah, where do you want me to go?
Okay, can I see the pipeline for the Hello World 2020, right? So what are all the instructions it has performed? What are the commands you have given it to it?
I'm just I was just on the basic part, man, where I was setting it up. And
Ilyas, 1 minute, wait, Tabish. Ilyas.
Yeah.
If you ask what you have done, kind of basic questions, they will show. If you say, show me how exactly you have done this thing, why you have done this kind of understanding questions, why you will understand. So what you do is, after this session, you just look into the DevOps training where we are discussing about the Jenkins. Take a look. Because
okay,
what he has done, I'll explain you what he has done.
No
2 freestyle jobs he has created. He has linked them one by one. There are so many ways to link, which I explained in the video.
Got you.
He has linked. Then he just created, as per my tutorial, some build pipeline view so that the moment you run one job, it will run the entire jobs, 2 jobs, and you can see the result there. That's it.
Oh, got you.
So don't ask him too much of analytic questions because he's just learning.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But he pretty much seems to understand, so that's good.
Boss, he cannot understand like you, obviously.
Oh man, the Jenkins
Boss, the same thing to do for Anjali. Anjali is there, but she also might struggle because
man.
You need to really practice. Yes, it's confusing and you need to practice.
Yeah, I got the GitHub.
Fine. Tabish, make the Ilyas host. Now, next 20 minutes, we'll talk about the Docker.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Yeah, make him the host. Anyway, it's recording already.
Yeah.
Where do we go? Make host.
Go on, man.
Right, man.
Ilyas.
Host.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it, man.
All right, man. Hey, thanks
All right.
a lot, man. I appreciate the help.
Okay, so So
Wait,
basically,
still staying. It's going to explain about
Tabish
Docker.
and Anjali has joined, and obviously Raghu is there. So wherever Raghu would pitch in and correct me if I'm saying something, and if there is some additional discussion to be required, or in-depth technical background to be given, obviously Raghu will join in and quickly correct things and provide more information. So what I've done so far is I have prepared a document over here. So like the Java training we already have, and then we have got one for Docker training. So what I've listed down is the list of topics what we would cover in the next couple of days. I mean, it depends upon how long Raghu wants me to stretch the Docker training, yeah, and depends upon how much knowledge you have existing of Docker and all the other team members also in this program. So these are basically the topics which I have chosen, okay, as a part of essentially this will cover the entire Docker. So like things like introducing Docker, why we use Docker and stuff like that, and then how do we do the installation, yeah, and then what's the managing of containers, what do you mean by containers, the Docker file, running a Tomcat application. So I'm giving a live scenario. I will be walking through a live scenario where we'll have a Java application running a microservice and which is speaking to a MySQL backend database, and how they are going to speak among themselves. So that would be basically a Spring Boot application. And then we'll see what a Docker Hub is basically. And then we'll go to the networking part of it, to having different containers to speak to each other. So we need to create network over there. And then we have something called as volumes. So I will be talking about volumes. Volumes are basically creating folders which are basically mapped to your host machine. So basically the way the container works, you shut down the container, you will lose your data, what you have in the container. So that doesn't always work fine. So if you have a web server, it's okay. If it restarts and the container is recreated, it's okay. But if you have a MySQL, it needs to persist the data. So those kind of things, we say mounting of volumes, yeah. And then we come to Docker Compose, where we talk about how to write a detailed script of what all the different steps it needs to do. Something like what we just did in Docker, yeah, have a two-step over there, and it needs to execute those two steps, right? So in a large enterprise architecture, you would basically have not just one or two Docker images, but you will have like hundreds of them. So you have a huge YAML file. So I'll also talk about how to write YAML files. Then we have the Swarm over here, so which is something similar to Kubernetes, but Swarm is what is the orchestration tool of Docker. So Docker also provides something similar to Kubernetes, but obviously Kubernetes is much larger and much accepted among the community. And then I would then what we write in the Spring Boot application is basically a microservice. So we would move this microservice on an EC2 environment. That's towards the end of our courses, yeah. And this is a reference quick guide which I have created over here to commonly used commands, yeah. Are you guys with me, Raghu and Tabish and Anjali?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So why do we use Docker? Tabish, would you know something about this one?
I know Docker has containers, man, and that's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, got you.
Running a lot of containers, but I want to know what the main purpose of the Docker is. I
Okay.
don't know.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. So if we, I mean, we are all from the IT background. Tabish, are you also from an IT sort of background? Have you worked in the past?
Yeah, mainly on the support side, man. Support side of
Good.
IT.
It's much important for you as well. And I know that from my last, I heard that Anjali is also a computer science graduate. Okay. So what traditionally we had a problem was, so me as a developer, right? I would write in some piece of software in Java or .NET, right? And I have a lot of environmental dependencies. Have you come upon such a situation in your support thing where developer says, oh, it used to work on my machine, why doesn't it work on the staging or on the production? Did you come across this sort of situation? Or it works on one server, my application, but it doesn't work on another server? Or it doesn't work on the cloud? So you have different environments over there.
Gotcha.
Got me? So a simple example, right now, what we had in your computer is you did not have the JDK installed. Yeah. So if I were to give you a Jenkins sort of script file, what do you call, Raghu, in the Jenkins language? Like a Docker compose file, or the Docker file is there for Dockers, right? So what is
Jenkins
that?
file.
Exactly. So see, if I throw a Jenkins file at you and ask Tavish, can you run it? So you would, it might run on your
Basically,
machine.
Docker file, Jenkins files, all these things are like a configuration file.
Exactly.
It's like a file where you're writing some configuration or writing some kind of instructions.
Yeah.
So that the respective tool will operate. So Docker file is all about telling something to the Docker. That's it.
Yeah, Docker file. Yeah, that's right.
And so would I run these files in the command prompt, or how would I run them?
Yeah, they run it in the command prompt, but later on what they do is they would plug in this file inside your Jenkins at a much later stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a part of your process, the pipeline process, one of them is to create a Java program like what you already have, the Hello World. One of them would basically execute a Docker file, and that file would basically create the entire infrastructure over there. It's on EC2. So that's way ahead of the whole Docker thing. Yeah. So you asked a fundamental question, which is very valid. So why Docker? Yeah, what is it doing? So basically what we're doing is, instead of me giving a production guy or a DevOps guy, so I am a developer and you are a DevOps guy, and I say, okay, Tavish, this is my piece of software, a compiled code. Can you put it on the staging? Oh, you're going to call me and say, oh, Ahmed, I need to know what version of the runtime you are using, what are the dependencies it needs to have, what are the environmental variables, and then I will give you a bunch of configuration files. You would go and configure them, and we can't guarantee that you would have all the environment set up the way I want it. So in order to avoid that problem, they came up with this container concept where so I give you as a developer, I don't just give you the source code, but I give you the sort of the services and the dependencies and the libraries also as a part of the package. So that's a Docker container. So we need to first understand Docker images is the first thing, right? And then comes containers. So you have an image running, and when you run it, it becomes a container. So let me just show you one sort of a screen over here, if you can see on my screen. So this is basically the infrastructure. Infrastructure could be a in-house servers, yeah, which is sitting somewhere in one of your hub room or server room, yeah, a number of machines, or it could be on Amazon, it could be on Azure, or it could be on any other cloud platform. And then you have got a host operating system. So right now, what I have installed on my machine is a Docker desktop for Windows. And I've seen you have that also installed on your machine. Yeah. So for me, my operating system, you can see, is a Windows over here. So you can see, obviously, so you see the Windows icon over here. So this is my Windows machine. So I am running Docker desktop on my Windows machine, right? So that's the infrastructure. That's the host application. And then you have got the Docker being installed. So I've got the Docker installed over here. So you can see this is the Docker desktop, which is already installed on my machine. Yeah. And then you've got individual applications, application A, B, C, D, and these are all the different containerized applications running on Docker. Do you know about virtualization? Anjali, do you know about virtualization?
I know about VMware and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Creating another machine on the same machine, like
exactly,
that will be running virtually.
Very good. See, this is the good thing about though we are all just 3 or 4 of us, but we are all on the same sort of level of understanding. So we do understand what VMware did in the past for us. So it basically created an entire application, an entire operating system, a guest operating system on my machine. Yeah. So basically, if you were to give me an application, a Java application, I would ask, you would have given me as a part of an entire VMware build. That's pretty heavy. That includes the entire operating system. But what Docker does is basically it doesn't have the kernel information. So it doesn't have the kernel. Raghu, would you explain that elaborate on this one?
Which one?
Basically the Docker engine, right? Or the Docker desktop, what I have, the Docker engine basically doesn't require that the Docker image have the kernel files. So kernel files, the base.
Let's not go that much deep. Keep it simple. Don't go into the kernel level right now, because Windows kernel, Linux kernel, all this is the deep stuff. Just keep it the the picture you are showing,
Yeah.
just explain in that way. If you want, you can take any virtualization picture.
Yeah. This is also
Enough. Don't go too deep.
okay, fine. So
For now, let's keep it like kernel means it's part of your operating system. It could be a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system, which is your base operating system.
Yeah.
Base or host.
Yeah.
All are same. Just let's keep it to that level.
Okay, agree. And then you have got multiple containers running. So one container basically is running a Tomcat version and my Java application on that one. Another container is running a MySQL, and they both speak to each other. And this entire thing, what you can see in this diagram, is basically running on my one computer. You guys got that one? So I'm not asking you to give me two different sort of server instances or two separate boxes of servers, physical servers. I'm not asking you for that. Basically, this is one container. So in a large production architecture, you would have multiple containers running, each one of them having their own version of Tomcat and Java, and my one microservice would basically run on one container. So I would have like around 20 to 50 different containers. They're all speaking to a MySQL. So this is where it comes from, the concept of why to use Docker, right? I would go further down over here. So basically, this is my Eclipse where I'm using my Java application. That application I would copy inside a base Docker image. Now, where do I get the base Docker image? I get it from the Docker Hub. There are a number of published images over there. This is the procedure for installing of the Docker. So basically, you need to have Docker installed on the machine. So let's start with that one. So do I need to show the procedure? I have given the link over here. You guys can go to this link and download the desktop version of Docker for Windows. And it needs to run, it will run on the 64-bit of Professional. So you need to have Windows 10 Professional in order to download Docker. And then we can install it on obviously Mac and Windows, Mac on Linux as well. And focus to this training, the entire one I would be doing is on the Windows version of it. So we need to create a Docker Hub account. So Docker Hub account, we can go on the Docker and get it done. So I'll show you how the Docker this is the Docker Hub. It's very simple to create an account. All of you guys planning to practice on Docker needs to have this one. In fact, when you start the service of Docker over here, it will ask you to log in. So basically, I have logged in over here. How this is helpful is if I want to download an image over here on my Windows. So I have basically got these are the different images I downloaded a couple of months back. So in fact, before the training session, I downloaded a MySQL image over here. So basically, it's getting from the Docker Hub directly. So if I were to go inside over here and search for a repository, so basically this is the version it has just downloaded. Somebody has downloaded 10 million downloads for this MySQL image. So that's the image, which is this MySQL image is the one which is sitting over here. So if you can see on my screen, this is the one which I downloaded today. Yeah, it was created 11 days ago, but the one which I downloaded a couple of minutes back. So this is the account which it is talking about. So this is the account which I created. So you create this account and then you can download it using the link which I provided over here, or once you log in to the Docker Hub, you will get the download screen and run the image, and no environmental changes. So that's the key thing of it. So once you download the image over here and run it, I can copy my files into that one, the Java files. So yeah, so dev to production is exactly the same. So when I do my development and I give you and say, hey Tabish, can you push this thing on the staging? You just take the Docker image, whatever is there inside, you don't need to bother about that one. You just deploy it, or you can deploy it to a private cloud as well. So this is the procedure of installing of Docker. So I can see Tabish has installed that one. If Anjali is planning to install Docker, she can do this Docker installation. And in the next class, you can come back and I can guide you if you have any issues. Is that okay, Anjali?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So you can do with the step number 1 over here. So what I've put over here, yeah, this is the number 1 thing. So Docker. So I'll just proceed now and go to the. I just walk through the entire contents over here of my sheet, and then I will go into the details. So yeah, so this is basically a Docker image. Yeah, so we have got an Apache Tomcat and a Java and the jar files running over here. So it can go. You can make one container you can run, or you can run more than one container, right? So you can run like 20 containers, 15 containers, and even the containers could span across multiple instances on a cluster. So we can go through those terms much later on. Yeah. So that's what I mean by the deployment scenario. It depends upon what kind of scenario you have and what's the demand you have. And then you have downloading of images. So yeah, so basically, so I would ask Anjali, do you have, are you learning something else beside you want to download an image? So this is the location where you have all the repositories sitting over here. So if I go explore, I can see you on the left side, you can see, so what Tabish is doing on his local machine, I would basically go and download a Jenkins image. Yes, Tabish, how does that sound like? Have you thought about that?
I haven't tried that one, but yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is the image which is already available over here. Somebody has updated. So this is the official Jenkins Docker image. Yeah. So how do we download this thing? I go over here
to your command.
Yeah, I can use a Docker pull command. Yeah, and it's going to download this latest version of the Docker file with Jenkins already installed on it. So what you just tried to do, remember, you had to have Java properly installed. This image would have all those configurations done. So now do you understand the difference between the image file downloading the Docker image with Jenkins versus downloading Jenkins standalone? There are two different things, right? So what we can do in one of the classes down is that we download a Jenkins Docker.
Yes, one small thing here.
Sure.
Now these guys have understood the installation of Jenkins from a Windows point of view, that too from the exe.
Correct.
What you are saying is fine, but thing is, first let them spend some time and digest on Docker. So
yeah,
with respect to general Docker, whatever you said, the images, all those things, fine. With respect to Jenkins, you can talk generally. Don't expect full understanding right now. So probably once you use the Docker to deploy some applications, as you maintained your nodes, you are doing the Jenkins using Docker. Once you have done it, then they might be able to relate. See, right now, they never seen Docker in their life. They never seen any containerization in their life. So yeah, this kind of Jenkins specific thing, they will take some time to digest. Yeah, so you can just go on.
Yeah, I was pulling Jenkins as an example to show them.
Yeah, correct. But this thing, if you tell directly, I think it will confuse them more, because remember Tabish was saying the way Jenkins was doing certain things. Oh man, this is very complicated.
No, okay, I'm understanding. Yeah. So I won't go into Jenkins, but I would simply tell him that.
No, you can go to Jenkins also, but especially if you are explaining something which already they have some idea.
Yeah.
Then you can ask about how are you getting it once you have completed that specific thing.
Okay.
So let's say right now, I think you maintain in your nodes, install Jenkins through Docker and then deploy. Once you completed that entire thing, then probably you can ask them. So right now you can just go ahead and talk.
Okay, fine. So basically these are the different images available on the Docker Hub. So once you guys create an account of Docker Hub, just browse through this one and you can see what are the different kinds of images. And then in my notes, I have mentioned on the Docker Hub repository of all the different images. Yeah, images are basically predefined build which includes all the dependencies and all the libraries and all the executables available. You got these are the 3 different types or 4 different types of repositories. One is officially certified ones, published for the best practices, tested and security and validated by Docker. So Docker as a community, or as they certify and create certain images. So which are the images which are always Docker certified images. So if I want for me, if I want a MySQL as an image, basically when I search an image, so I can say that give me only Docker certified image. Generally, you would have only one Docker certified image. I can download without any issue because I'm sure this is what Docker has published. And then I can even look for verifier. So this is also there. So this is also Docker certified as well as the verified published. So sometimes you will have only images which are verified by the publisher. So they take the responsibility over here. If you read this comment, high quality Docker content from verified publishers. These products are published and maintained directly by the commercial entity.
So Ahmed, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So this Docker Hub is basically like a repository for containing images?
Yes, container images. That's correct.
Container images only. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And if
explain to me again the function of a container.
Yeah. So basically, so when you have an image, so what's an image? What is the Docker image? Docker image is nothing but your sort of your application files, the dependencies, and then the software required to run those files. Yeah, so that's what's in Docker images. And based on when you run the image, it becomes a container. So that's where this is a very key important diagram. So I have put over here on this.
So it's like an image. So it's like an image of a system, or you mean like a picture?
Image of a system.
JPEG.
Image of a system.
Okay, there you go. Okay, makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, Docker image. That's what the terminology they use, or you can say the Docker file or something like that. You can see as
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you a small contrast.
You got this image from Edureka or what?
Yeah, Edureka. I don't know where I got this one from. You're right.
See, because Edureka uses this kind of things. Once I have done some kind of a sample demo to the Edureka people, then I have seen. So they would have prepared excellent slides from some people. Now, any new trainer, what they have to do, they have to follow their Edureka slides and just train the people in their own manner.
Yeah.
So they usually have very nice images.
Yeah. And if you see over here, the word running is coming. Tabish, can you notice this one?
Actually, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the word running is very important. This is a file sitting. You can't access this. You can access this thing as just a file, but you don't actually do anything with that. It's only when you run this one, it becomes into a container. Yeah. And then container, you can shut down the container and then you wouldn't have the container available. Then you have the image available, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we can see later on during this one where we can actually copy a file inside an image and push this image on the Docker Hub. So basically, once I push the image is going to come on over here. So it's going to come on my Docker Hub, and I can go to my repositories, and you can see one item coming over here. So once I publish an image of my custom image of my software installed in that one or my database setup in that one, all the configuration I would do, and I would push it to the Docker Hub. So you would get an entry over here, and I will say, okay, Tabish, okay, Anjali, you can download my Docker image and run on your machine. You got me the simplicity, how it's there. I don't need to give you a line of code or anything. I can just give you the URL. The URL basically comes up like this. So as you have just seen over here, so I would have my own something application, and I will give you the URL and say it's storing.
Okay.
So okay, no, this is asking me to buy this one. I don't know why it's asking me to buy that one, but developer, I don't know why it's doing that one, but basically I should have been able to, I can give you the URL and you can run that particular command on your machine. Maybe this will allow me to do that. Yeah, see, then I would say, okay, I would have my command over here. So instead of Docker pull, I will give you my command saying that, okay, something like, publish, I will give you a command like so something command like this. So you would run this command on your command prompt and it would download the repository, whatever I have uploaded. So that we would do at a later stage and as a part of this exercise.
Okay.
Yeah. and then again going back over here. So this is the basically the 4 different types of accounts or repository types you have. So finding a base image. So basically you need to think about what exactly you want. For me now, as a part of this training sessions in the coming days, and I'm going to download the base image for me, like which requires the Java install on Ubuntu, but that's Raghu's favorite as well as mine. And then I would install the Java runtime in that one. Today I was seeing one of the repositories before I started this one. Some people somebody has published a Spring Java Spring Boot. Also, this is also a repository image basically sitting over there with Java runtime version 9 over here, and so on. So I can download that one, whatever I require. Okay, that's how you basically found. And then there are a number of Docker commands also. I have prepared a list at the bottom of this one. So these are the commands. So I was still trying to, so these are the commands to manage the images. Starting from here, manage the different images. Of course, there are much more also. This is to.
What is that chapter 4, chapter 5? Is it from Docker Notes or some other site?
This one? Yeah, it's from a particular course which I have done long back.
What is the course name?
This course is I can show you that one.
Udemy.
Yeah, Udemy, correct. And I love this guy's course, and I could recommend anybody anybody wants to do that one.
Okay. That's the reason Mukit will call you Bhaktiar. Got it. Who is H Bhaktiar?
Health Bhaktiar.
Huh?
H Bhaktiar is health. H for health. HEALTH. And I just love this guy. This is the one. And yeah, so I got the course content from here. If you can see, so I've done through this one. And the same guy, he does a training on Kubernetes, which is a much bigger course, which also like, so this is where I've got this one. So, he goes into a live thing, and his way of explanation is, I like his way of explanation as well. Let me just play one of them for like 2 minutes.
Hello and welcome to this course where you're going to be getting hands-on experience of using Docker on a real working system. Docker is one of the hottest topics out there right now, and if you're a Java developer who wants to get started with Docker, then this is the course for you.
Yeah, so basically this is the course which I have done. And somebody recommended this one for me, and this Richard Chester, is the guy who does this course. So this is just the Docker course, and his course, another one is the same guy. So if I can go and see this guy, yeah, this is the guy, right? So if I go to, there are 44,000 people registered on his courses, and this is the second course which I love the most. So I'm planning to prepare to give training on this one, and this is much extensive, and he runs on the AWS cloud, so it is very extensive, and he does use Jenkins also at one point for the integration. So we can have a look at that also. I don't know where that.
Yeah, there is a ways you can possibly integrate with Kubernetes and Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is where Raghu asked me. So yeah, so this is where the chapter numbers are there. So I learned from there, and that's where and I'm trying to add more stuff to that one, because that's
absolutely fine.
Yeah, so that course what I showed you is like around 2 years old, but he keeps on updating the courses with some of the latest things, and he puts alerts also saying that this is what I have said during the course build, don't follow that particular instruction or stuff like that. So he says that one. So these are the commands I put at I'm going to still format these commands using those Raghu's style of source code. I'm going
code blocks
to find some better way of putting them. Yeah. So
there is so many themes you have in the code blocks.
Yeah.
I just like the default one, which is Agate.
Yeah, I love that as well. So I'll put something for this one. So this is going to be our live document. So you see, if I just put the headings over here, I still need to add some meat to this one, right? So running a Tomcat application, copying of images. So this is basically a Docker file. So I want to sort of end this one at in another 5 minutes or so, just going on this high level topics. I will let you guys digest that, and the next one we can have some actually running of commands and downloading some images and copying my local files. So I would have IntelliJ also available over here on my local machine. So like Hello World, what Tabish has created, that one I can put on a Docker container and access it from the host machine, and then we can do all sort of networking activity. Yeah, Anjali, are you following? What do you mean by networking when it comes to Docker? Is she still there?
Yeah, she is on mute.
Oh, she's
Okay,
on mute.
basically, no, let's not get into the stuff which you have not yet discussed. Maybe you can ask the questions of what you have discussed so far to Tabish and Anjali.
Okay, so can I stop over here, or can I say what are the things we are going to cover in the Docker?
You can do, man. Come on, right now till Docker and Kubernetes is done, it's your course now.
Oh my God.
I think if we stop here and then we do something more the next day, it'll be better so we can practice, you know?
Got you.
Exactly.
Got
So
you.
next DevOps stuff will be going to be on Tuesday. So you have 3 to 4 days time you can practice.
Yeah, and I can upgrade my stuff furthermore. I can refine my content and put in some more relevant images so that it becomes easy for all of us.
Actually, you can do one thing, Elias. Anyway, you have access to my main document, right? You can copy all your content and
Yeah.
directly
Follow
dump
this
into
guy.
Docker heading in that main DevOps training. You can do that.
Oh, you have a dev, but that will be really very long. We can just link it up, man, because this document itself is going to be like 40 pages or more. This is 13 already.
That's fine. Let it be there. See, that lets the Google document be even 120 pages. What's the matter?
Okay.
Going to read under the Docker section. So let it be there. Fine.
You have all this heading coming up over there.
See, my plan of teaching is I thought of teaching very specific stuff, relevant stuff, so that they can go and helpful on the trainings. Now, if you see the active people who are actually doing, Anjali is not going to attend now because she needs some time. She is into some other job, all those stuff.
Right.
It's a future thing. Now, coming to the Tabish is some person who has been all the time in Windows. He doesn't know anything in Linux. So he's more of a beginner. Even if Syed wants him to get into proxy mode of thing, either me or someone can do that proxy interview. So it's anyway good learning to go very deep since you are doing to that. And you can just put all this content directly and copy it into DevOps training. Directly you can do that if you want. I'm fine. Actually, you can do that.
I have access to your shared with me.
Wait, Tabish has given some message. I followed this document yesterday to practice some Docker. Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, he has given some link. Yes, that is absolutely fine, Tabish.
Yeah. So
what you have done is,
follow that, man.
See, you try to stick to some material. Anything is fine. But point is, once you learn that, try to grasp of what you learned so far so that you can link the other information. See, everybody is not going to talk the same thing. You don't see DevOps training, Elias?
No, I don't see. You see, shared with me is Java training.
Let me share immediately. Yeah, how much time it will take for me? I think I know your email ID. Elias.
No, it's not Elias, man. It's over here.
AhmadSjava20@gmail.com, correct?
Yep.
I even have your charter email ID. Ahmad Muhammad Shahabuddin at charter.com. One more guy is there. Ahmad Fakir Muhammad. Okay, man. So now DevOps training also shared with you. If you go to your shared folder, you can see that. Just click on shared with me. You will have that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Open this DevOps training. Go to the Docker section. You can dump all your content here and directly you can edit here.
Okay, I got you. I can do that one. Yeah, over here.
Yeah, go there. No, not there. Not here. Sorry. What I mean to say is, first click on Docker here. Click on Docker. Yeah. You leave the whatever the stuff I created. That's fine. You can leave it. Come to the down. Come down. Yeah, he can copy here.
Okay, got you.
Including headings.
Okay, agree.
You just copy the headings, and once we refresh the table of contents, automatically it will refresh.
Okay, got you.
So here you just copy all your Docker stuff with headings. so that in future you have full access. You can do the edit there itself.
Okay, I'll copy and paste over here. Okay, I can do that one.
Let me see if you have that access. Ahmad Shahab. Yes, you have edit access, man.
Okay, cool. So let me try putting one image.
You can organize, add and edit. Yes, you can organize, add and edit.
Yeah, perfect, man. Okay.
Now, once we go to the top, just refresh. The headings will automatically be refreshed.
Yeah, that's right. I got that one. This image is very good, you know.
Which one?
This image over here, it's very basic and nice. Very simple to understand.
Yeah, this is from tutorials point.
Yeah, it's good.
I mainly copy from where I've taken. That's the reason I asked to use it from your Udemy course. Because what I felt is tutorials point is one of the guy who try to keep it as simple as possible so that any beginner can learn. But they don't put all the information. So you need to read little bit from tutorials point and then you have to go beyond top of that. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now this session will be disconnected, I think, within 2 to 3 minutes.
No, it says less than 1 minute.
Yeah. So that's the thing, guys. If you have any questions, you can ask Ilyas now. On next, we can meet on Tuesday. So meanwhile, you guys can practice with something with Docker.
So same time on Tuesday, right? 6 to 7 p.m. Central?
Tuesday, I will have class. But yeah, same time. What I will do, I'll just start it. I'll go on mute. You guys can continue. Yeah, same time. Yes.
All right, cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Anjali, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, good you are there. I thought you were on mute.
No, I'm here.
No, just kidding. Okay. See you, man. Bye, Alias.
Bye.